If you or a loved one are struggling with type 2 diabetes, you should visit the link in the description below. This clinically proven, drug-free program lowers blood sugar to a normal level and can completely reverse type 2 diabetes within just a few weeks. Here's today's video.
The question: if I am diagnosed with diabetes at 36, can I reverse it without taking prescribed medication? Answer by Ron Hunter. I am going to tell you my anecdotal story, tell you what I personally know to work, and let you make of it what you wish. You are not me, and not a doctor, but this story will inform you on how very well-intentioned medical people can really mess up your life. I was about your age when I was diagnosed with diabetes. I was maybe 36 to 38. I had one of the best diabetes doctors certainly in Houston and possibly in the country. The man was brilliant and taught diabetes and endocrinology at Houston's top-ranked Baylor Medical School. This is roughly the mid-1990s. My doctor sends me to both his diabetes educator and his diabetic nutritionist. They teach me a lot about diabetes, insulin injection and various other issues with diabetics. However, the advice on nutrition that I received was to eat a low-fat diet, and since I wanted to avoid fat, I should eat low-fat things like pretzels or low-fat crackers. This was horrible advice, but it was, and possibly still is, a conventional wisdom. Fats are going to kill you and healthy whole grains are what you want to consume. So my journey begins. Well, I'm getting fatter and fatter in my 40s. My blood sugar is going up. I exercise, I lose some weight. Very difficult, and usually I gained it back, but still having tons and tons of metabolism problems. I get to a point where I'm not too overweight, but I'm still injecting lots and lots of 2 different kinds of insulin, and now have a primary care internal medicine doctor who is trying to shuffle me off to the endocrinologist to get my 9.0 A1C under control. It doesn't take a genius to see that something is not working. Now I know that low-carb diets work because it worked for me as a very fat 13-year-old back when this new book by Robert Atkins came out. I lost lots of weight and actually was for a time as a teenager not so fat and somewhat good-looking kid. However, conventional wisdom of the time was Atkins is going to kill you. Fast forward to 3 years ago or so. My wife, despite her lean Asian runner body, is now being told by her doctors, Mrs. Hunter, you're pre-diabetic. So, our whole house goes on the low-carbohydrate, healthy fat ketogenic diet. My wife's pre-diabetes goes completely away. Her blood sugars are so low as to be barely within normal on her lab results. Well, what do you know? I start tapering back my insulin and eventually stop injecting. My blood sugars start dropping. After 20+ years of type 2 diabetes and injected insulin, my doctors are almost turning handstands. I'm not in total remission, but I have normal, for a diabetic, blood sugars and only take metformin. I actually got it rock solid normal with SGLT drugs, but that didn't work out and is another story. The bottom line is that my very brilliant diabetes doctor, his probably very smart diabetic nutritionist, and the conventional wisdom set me up for years and years of high blood sugar, lots of injected insulins and other drugs, even done statins, even done fibrates, even done other diabetes drugs, that even now left long ago. You don't necessarily reverse diabetes. You can without a doubt stop the progressive nature of it. Many people are able to put it into almost complete remission. I can point to clinics and doctors around the world who are doing this. I can point to peer-reviewed published papers that support my anecdotal experience. The low-carbohydrate, healthy fat ketogenic diet is in my experience the intervention that you need for your 36-year-old diabetic body. Naysayers will scream, crap, maybe the next thing is people trying to haul me beef, or some commission for practicing nutrition without a license. I know it works. I can point you to peer-reviewed evidence that it works. I can point you to clinics and doctors around the world who are making it work. So, there you go. One anecdotal story of well-intentioned medical advice making someone's life worse. Advice from someone who has lived type 2 diabetes on how to start restoring your body to metabolic health. Answer by Cesar Fetu. Type 1 or 2? Type 1 means your pancreas stopped producing insulin, so even if in theory it can start production again, it is a long shot. Type 2 means your pancreas is tired, because you nuked it with sugar, forcing it to produce more than it is naturally designed to, or you have other problems that lead to underproduction. A careful investigation of all possible causes is mandatory. Most people can reverse type 2 diabetes with a very drastic diet, 8,001,000 kilocalories/day, very low carbohydrate intake, less than 30 grams/day, portioned in 2 times/day, Together with proteins and healthy fats, total avoidance of fast carbohydrates, and by not using non-caloric sweeteners, both natural, stevia, and artificial, saccharin, xylitol, sucralose, etc., as long as you are reasonably young, so your body is still able to reverse damages. Let's say 40 years old, +/10 non-caloric sweeteners trick your brain into telling your pancreas, sugar on its way, drop insulin. Insulin desperately searches for sugar, cannot find it in your blood, therefore depletes your glycogen reserve from liver, muscles and brain, inducing unnecessary stress to those. Besides making you feel tired, brain functions with sugar. Next time when you eat sugar, your brain might say, "Nah, you tricked me before, not falling for it again." And tell your pancreas to drop less insulin than required. Not being enough, another order will come in 20 minutes, drop more. Your pancreas gets confused and tired by the extra work it has to provide. Saccharin impairs sugar-breaking bacteria in your gut, therefore sugar stays longer in your system, inducing unnecessary insulin bleeding which can exhaust your pancreas. Insulin helps the body use a bigger percentage of nutrients to build up stock. Several studies show obesity is present 200% more in people drinking diet soda than those that don't. Artificial sweeteners also induce munchies. Studies also start showing, not relevantly enough yet, that artificial sweeteners might impair proper functioning of your gut, not only absorption but motility as well. Still waiting for more data in the field. Bottom line, if you are young, start dieting and hope for the best, do your homework, test your personal reaction to different foods. Not all bodies function the same, absorption times are different, slow versus fast metabolism, etc., etc. We are not that similar. Individual approach and medical support are both necessary. And stop your craving for the sweet taste. It is like quitting smoking. If it works, you have a lot of chances of being able to enjoy it again in a few months, hopefully this time more moderately. And zero alcohol for the whole dieting period. Answer by James Manoon. Do you have or feel any of these symptoms? Excessive thirst, increased urination, sometimes as often as every hour, unexpected weight loss, fatigue or tiredness, nausea, perhaps vomiting, blurred vision. In women, frequent vaginal infections, yeast infections, thrush, dry mouth, slow healing sores or cuts, itching skin, especially in the groin or vaginal area. If yes, please search Yerbas Raisas on Quora here to find a herbal medical institute for pure natural roots to prepare Asian pot drugs which helps builds immunity against all diabetic syndromes. Find their email right on the profile, report your condition and get real herbal possible solutions.